there. So chapter 4 is about your skin, called the integumentary system, but it also includes a little section about other body membranes. So this first video is going to be about those other body membranes. One of the types of membranes are referred to as mucous membranes. If you look at figure 4.1, it's the second page in your packet, you have some diagrams to just outline these different membranes. Mucous membranes are always open to the outside, so your nose and your mouth go into your respiratory and digestive tracts, your reproductive tract, uretogenital tract. Those all are covered with mucous membranes. They have surface epithelium, and they're often designed for absorption and secretion. So you're going to find a lot of simple squamous cells that secrete fluids, cuboidal cells, columnar cells, specialized cells for doing those things. Here's an example of a mucous membrane. The mucosa is referred to the epithelium plus the tissue, the connective tissue that's right underneath it. And this is a cross-section of the trachea. Submucosa is kind of like the dermis in your body. Sometimes there's smooth muscle in that tissue, and then there's cartilage bands in your trachea that's supported as well. Here's a closer photomicrograph showing the pseudostratified ciliated epithelium that you guys learned about a little bit in chapter 3. I don't think you can see a really clear goblet cell in here, but mucosas, cells in the mucous membranes often have goblet cells that secrete mucus, and that mucus can make it slippery and slimy. In your upper respiratory tract, it helps to trap anything foreign that comes in through your nose, like a virus or a bacteria or a piece of dust or pollen, and prevent it from getting deeper into your respiratory system. Your gastrointestinal tract is also covered with mucosa, making it slimy so that things will slip on through. These are microvilli, not cilia, and then the cells that are making secretions, there's mucus cells, there's parietal cells, chief cells making acids and enzymes and all the things that you need in your alimentary canal. Second type of membranes are called serous membranes, and they're found in body cavities that don't have an opening to the outside. So your abdominopelvic cavity has membranes that cover the organs and membranes that cover the wall of the actual cavity. They're usually designed so that the parts that are in there when they're moving against each other move in a smooth and frictionless fashion against each other. And so a lot of times they have simple squamous epithelium that secretes some sort of fluid. Here's a cross-section of the myocardium, is the muscle of the heart, and then the endocardium is this layer of simple squamous right around the perimeter of it that would secrete fluid. So there's a little sac around your heart called the pericardium, and the heart and the pericardium can move against each other in a smooth and frictionless fashion because of the membranes that are around the organ and around the cavity that encloses the organ, and then the space in between them is usually filled with what's called serous fluid that makes it nice and slimy and slip across it. There are specific names for all of these membranes. The layer that's next to the actual organ is referred to as the visceral layer, and the layer that's lining the cavity that it's in is called the parietal layer. And then each area of your body has a different name as well. Peritoneum refers to the membrane in your abdominal cavity. So if your visceral peritoneum would be the membrane that covers like your intestines, and the parietal peritoneum would be covering the inside of your abdominal cavity. The visceral pleura cover your lungs themselves, and the parietal pleura covers the inside of your thoracic cavity. And we've already talked about the pericardium. You have a visceral pericardium on the outside of your heart and a parietal pericardium on the inside of the pericardial membrane. The last type of membranes are the synovial membranes, and they actually aren't made of epithelial tissue, but they are made of connective tissue. This is cartilage, and they secrete synovial fluid, which also helps to prevent friction and makes smooth and frictionless movement. We're going to focus most of our attention on skin, which is the cutaneous membrane, and that's where I'm going to end video number 1.